math, science, social studies, reading and writing, the subjects of an elementary school teacher. But what if there was a way to make it so the student got a better education and the teacher did not have the burden of 5 subjects at one time and can focus on what they're best at? The Media Literacy and Research Methodology course was very helpful to shaping my AR project. I was introduced to Second Life and also the idea of working in groups in which the members were total strangers. The work that was completed as a group inspired my idea of using team teaching in my project. The group work was like what Dreyer said about team teaching. The most successful efforts involve an intense level of communication and flexibility, and trust in one's fellow teachers is essential. Another part of MLR that was helpful was a refresher course on APA format. Without that, I would have been lost. The Multiple Learning Theory Applications course introduced me to Howard Gardner and a new way to plan for my students. Even though planning for their learning modality is a must, being able to plan for their different intelligences allows for the teacher to help reach the student in many new ways. As my project started to focus on social studies as a main subject, I knew I had to find ways to reach students that were not linguistic, but all the other different intelligences. Job stated about video conference teaching that it also appeals to students of different learning styles, and that would be helpful in my course of action for the different learning styles is what I hope to reach after learning about the multiple intelligences. Emergent technologies in a collaborative culture introduced me to web content that made working with my partner teacher easier and generated many ideas for the video conference part of the project. Google Docs became an essential tool for planning our lessons. We were able now to work outside of school and at different places and still be able to work on our lessons at the same time. The use of web-based interactive software and having an interactive whiteboard allowed for the lessons to become more productive in the second cycle of my project. The course helped to establish how the video lessons were presented. We used iChat and Keynote as our main delivery sources and added in content such as interactive timelines and videos to subject to the lecture-based lessons. Education Design and Evaluation was the most essential class for creating the AR project. Learning about the ADDIE model made the project much easier than I anticipated. I now did not have to start from scratch, but could use the model to formulate all the necessary components for my project, both on the team teaching aspect and on the live streaming video conference aspect. Each step, from the beginning of analyzing all the way to the end of evaluating, helped my partner teacher and I create the cycles in a manner that was straightforward and not in a confused and haphazard way. The class was also very helpful in the establishment of my literature review, which will be necessary for completing my project. Musical theory and education applications presented me with ways to add music to lessons to help keep the students involved. I was also introduced in a way to use GarageBand as not just a music making tool, but as a tool for teaching in music and math. The music you have heard in the background during this section was used during a lesson in Westward Expansion during one of the conferences. It was also created during the class. By understanding the music of your students, one can better understand the student as a person. We allowed the students to create music based on the topic in social studies. The results gave us an understanding about how the students were mastering the material. The Learning Management Systems and Organization class was great to use with working with my AR project. I wish the class would have been earlier on in the program. The class showed me a system in which I could deliver the material that was shown during our live streaming video conference lessons to students that were not at school that day. Schoology was presented as an excellent tool for collaborating with not just students but teachers. This tool is excellent for use for team teaching as it allows collaboration with several different forms of media in one place. If we are able to continue our live streaming conference classes, an LMS would be a great addition to the course, and I am going to recommend Schoology to our school district because of its Facebook-like interface to which our students and teachers are so accustomed to. During Cycle 1 of the project, our main focus was to establish the classes and use a lecture style to see how the students reacted to the video conference learning classes. Based on Fitzgibbon's suggestions of class presentation, we followed his idea of the teacher teaching students at the desk in one classroom as well as to students at another location on the same campus. We used Keynote as a main delivery system for the information given to the student. As you can see behind you, this is one of the keynotes used for a lesson. Students would take notes during the lectures and ask questions. As the main presenter of the lesson, I would answer the question first, and my partner teacher would give supplemental answers for further explanation. Results of the first cycle showed a slight gain in test results, but mastery of the material for real-life purposes showed very little growth. During Cycle 2, we introduced an interactive part to the lessons to include not just the visual and audio learners, but kinesthetic learners. The students showed a much greater enthusiasm for these lessons, and results showed. The test scores showed a larger increase, and the students putting the knowledge of westward expansion and the inventions unit showed in other subjects, especially writing. Many students chose to write about people of that time period for their Profile of Great American Writing project. In conclusion, my partner teacher and I consider the project a success as it created a new way to reach and keep hold of students' interest in school, and especially a subject that can be as tedious as social studies, and improve mastery of subjects. We hope to be able to continue this process next year, including other subjects. And as Crawford said, the addition of video conferencing to a school's curriculum creates an innovative method for student motivation.